and take away our reproach. All right, this is part 2. It's educational purposes. Fair use, fair use. Fair use, fair use. Okay, so we're in chapter 3. Chapter 4. And in that day God shall shine gloriously in counsel on the earth, to exalt and glorify the remnant of Israel. And it shall be that the remnant left in Zion, and the remnant left in Jerusalem, even all that are appointed to life in Jerusalem, shall be called holy. For the Lord shall wash away the filth of the sons and daughters of Zion, and shall purge out the blood from the midst of them, with the spirit of judgment and the spirit of burning. And he shall come, and it shall be with regard to every place of Mount Zion, ye all the region round about, it shall a cloud overshadow by day, and there shall be as it were the smoke and light of fire burning by night. And upon all the glory shall be a defense, and it shall be for a shadow for the heat, and a shelter, and a hiding place from inclemency of weather and from rain. Now I will sing to my beloved a song of my beloved concerning my vineyard. My beloved.
Alert from Apple support. UMAC has.
Yeah, shut up. My beloved concerning my vineyard. Okay. My beloved had a vineyard on a high hill in a fertile place. And I made a hedge round it, and dug a trench, and planted a choice vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and dug a place for the wine vat in it. And I waited for it to bring forth grapes, and it brought forth thorns. And now, ye dwellers in Jerusalem, and every man of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What shall I do any more to my vineyard that I have not done to it? Whereas I expected it to bring forth grapes, but it has brought forth thorns. And now I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away its hedge, and it shall be for a spoil. And I will pull down its walls, and it shall be left to be rodden down. And I will forsake my vineyard, and it shall not be pruned nor dug, and thorns shall come up upon it as a barren land. And I will command the clouds to rain no rain upon it. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his beloved plant. I expected it to bring forth judgment, and it brought forth iniquity, and not righteousness, but a cry. Woe to them that join house to house, and add field to field, that they may take away something of their neighbors. Will ye dwell alone upon the land? For these things have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. For thou many houses should be built, many and fair houses shall be desolate, and there shall be no inhabitants in them. For where 10 yoke of oxen plow the land, shall yield 1 jarful, and he that sows 6 homers shall produce 3 measures. Woe to them that rise up in the morning and follow strong drink, who wait at it till the evening, for the wine shall inflame them. And what does that do for us? You know, man, I know a lot of people, and like liquor is Our number one problem, especially like when we out and enjoying ourselves, we don't know how to handle our liquor. And people get all crazy. Somebody gets dropped or some crazy shit goes on. Somebody get killed. And that's what they want. They want to give you. Creator says smoke weed. They say drink liquor and smoke cigarettes. For the wine shall inflame them, for they drink wine with harp and psaltery, and drums and pipes, but they regard not the works of the Lord, and consider not the works of his hands. And what is that today? We don't consider the works of the Lord or the works of his hands. We think everything was created by the Big Bang. But yet everything has a design and a mathematical property to it. It's all created. But we think we know everything is created, but we don't bless the creator. We don't praise the creator. Therefore my people have been taken captive, because they know not the Lord, and there has been a multitude of dead bodies, because of hunger and of thirst for water. Therefore hell has enlarged its desire and opened its mouth without ceasing, and her glorious and great, and her rich and her pestilent men shall go down into it. And the mean man shall be brought low, and the great man be disgraced, and the lofty eye shall be brought low, but the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and the holy God shall be glorified in righteousness. And they that were spoiled shall be fed as bulls, and lambs shall feed on the waste places of them that are taken away. Woe to them that draw sins to them, as with a long rope, and iniquities as with a thong of the heifer's yoke. Who say, let him speedily hasten? What will he do? What he will do, that we may see it? And let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel come, that we may know it. Woe to them that call evil good, and good evil. Woe to them that call evil good, and good evil, who make darkness light, and light darkness, who make bitter sweet, and sweet bitter. Woe to them that are wise in their own conceit, and knowing in their own sight. Woe to the strong ones of you that drink wine, and the mighty ones that mingle strong drink, who justify the ungodly for rewards, and take away the righteousness of the righteous. Therefore, as stubble shall be burnt by a coal of fire, and shall be consumed by a violent flame, their root shall be as chaff, and their flower shall be up as dust. For they rejected the law of the Lord of hosts, and insulted the word of the Holy One of Israel. Therefore the Lord of hosts was greatly angered against his people, and he reached forth his hand upon them, and smote them. And the mountains were troubled, and their carcasses were as dung in the midst of the way. Yet for all this his anger has not been turned away, but his hand is yet raised. Therefore shall we lift up a signal to the nations that are afar, and shall hiss for them from the ends of the earth. And behold, they are coming very quickly. That sounds like today. They shall not hunger, nor be weary, neither shall they slumber nor sleep. Neither shall they lose their girdles from their loins, neither shall their shoe latchets be broken, whose arrows are sharp, and their bows bent. Oh, bro, I got some sharp arrows and some bows you wouldn't believe. Their horses' hoofs are counted as solid rock. Their chariot wheels are as a storm. They rage as lions, and draw nigh as lions whelp. And he shall seize and roar as a wild beast. And he shall cast them forth, and there shall be none to deliver them. And he shall roar on account of them in that day, as the sound of the swelling sea. And they shall look to the land, and behold, there shall be thick darkness in their perplexity. And it came to pass in the year in which King Esaias died, sorry, that I saw the Lord sitting on a high and exalted throne, and the house was full of his glory, and seraphs stood round about him. Each one had 6 wings, and with 2 they covered their face, and with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And one cried to the other, and they said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the lintel shook, and the voice they uttered, and the house was filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me, for I am pricked to the heart, for being a man, and having unclean lips. I dwell in the midst of a people having unclean lips, and I have seen with mine eyes the King, the Lord of hosts. And there was sent to me one of the hosts of the seraphs, and he had in his hand a coal, which he had taken off the altar with the tongs. And he touched with my mouth, and said, Behold, this has touched thy lips, and will take away thine iniquities, and will purge off thy sins. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And whom will go to this people? And I said, Behold, I am here. Send me. And he said, Go and say to this people, Ye shall hear indeed, but ye shall not understand. And ye shall see indeed, but ye shall not perceive. For the heart of this people has become gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes have they closed, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. And I said, How long, O Lord? And he said, Until the cities be deserted, by reason of their not being inhabited, and the houses by reason of there being no men, and the land shall be left desolate. And after this God shall remove the men far off, and they that are left upon the land shall be multiplied. And yet there shall be a tent upon it, and again it shall be for a spoil, as a turpentine tree, and as a corn when it falls out of its husk. And it come to pass in the days of Achaz, the son of Joatham, and the son of Esaias, king of Judah, there came up Rezin, king of Aram. There came up Rezin, king of Aram. What does that sound like to you? Sounds like Arabic name. And Fakih, son of Ramelius, king of Israel, against Jerusalem, to war against it. But they could not take it. And a message was brought to the house of David, saying, Aram has conspired with Ephraim, and his soul was amazed, and the soul of his people. And in the wood a tree is moved by the wind. And the Lord said to Esaias, Go forth to meet Achaz, thou and thy son Hasab, who is left to the pool of the upper way of the fuller's field. And thou shalt say to him, Take care to be quiet, and fear not, neither let thy soul be disheartened, because of these 2 smoking firebrands. For when my fierce anger is over, I will heal again. And as for the sons of Aram and the sons of Ramelius, for as much as they have the sons as devised an evil counsel, saying, We will go up against Udah, and having conferred with them, we will turn them away to our side, and will make the son of Tabel, king of it, Thus said the Lord of hosts, this counsel shall not abide, nor come to pass. But the head of Aram is Damascus, and the head of Damascus Rasin. And yet, within 65 years, the kingdom of Ephraim shall cease from being a people. And the head of Ephraim is Samoran, and the head of Samoran, the son of Ramelius. But if you believe not, neither will ye at all understand, overstand, in a stand. And the Lord again spoke to Achaz, saying, ask for thyself a sign of the Lord thy God in the depth or in the height. And Achaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. So you got to understand, like, he didn't want to piss the Lord off. So he was walking on eggshells at this point. And he said, hear ye now, O house of David. Is it a little thing for you to contend with men? And how do you contend against the Lord? Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive in the womb, and shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Emmanuel, or Emmanuel. Butter and honey shall he eat before he knows either to prefer evil or choose the good. For before the child shall know good or evil, he refuses evil to choose the good, and the land shall be forsaken without aught afraid of, because of the two kings. Try this again. Butter and honey shall he eat before he knows either to prefer evil or to choose the good. For before the child shall know good or evil, he refuses evil to choose the good, and the land shall be forsaken, which thou art afraid of, because of the two kings. But God shall bring upon thee and upon thy people and upon the house of thy father days which have never come, from the day that Ephraim took away from Judah, and the king of from the day that Ephraim was taken away from Udah by the king of Assyrians. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall hiss for the flies. You see how it made it really hard to read there? You see when it has talking about the Assyrians and our captivity? You see how they want to try and manipulate it or make it confusing? So what it's saying is that I will give you a sign. What this sign shall be is a woman shall use that organ which she can use to immaculate conceive. So the Creator will uncalcify that organ and allow it to be used for immaculate conception. And if this kid will be a sign. But what had happened was, later on you'll find out that he went against the Lord. So this sign never came. And Jesus is fake. But God shall bring upon thee and upon thy people and upon the house of thy father days which have never come from. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall hiss for the flies, which insect shall rule over